Good morning and welcome to the Daily Light Devotion. I hope all of you had a wonderful Monday and looking forward to today. That is the 16th of September. And today's devotion, we are going to look from Acts chapter 25, verses 13 to 21. It's called Testifying with Clarity. That's the name of the devotion. And we see, Paul was had appealed to Caesar, but Festus was finding it very difficult what to write because there was a lot of confusion. So, meanwhile, King Agrippa and Bernice visited Festus, and so Festus shared Paul's case with them. And though Paul was innocent, Festus struggled with what to write to Caesar, right? And these passages highlight God's place his people before rulers, right? And how confusion about the gospel arises, and how we must clear um, and be a faithful witness, right? Verses 13 and 14 says, After some days, King Agrippa and Bernice came to Caesarea to greet Festus. When they had been there many days, Festus laid Paul's case before the king. So God brings uh, new years to Paul's story, even among rulers. And it shows, God enlarges our platform through unexpected circumstances. In this case, right, whatever God does is not unexpected, it's intentional. He knows what that's his sovereignty. That's why he's top. He doesn't control everything, like most of Christians believe or allow everything. But when we submit everything to God, like Paul was, right, we see God move. And here we see that, the story is shared with King Agrippa, giving him opportunity to hear the gospel. And so, um, then 15, verse 15 and 16 say, About whom the chief priest and the elders of the Jew informed me when I was in Jerusalem asking for a judgment against him. To them I answered, It's not the custom of the Romans to deliver any man to destruction before the accused meets the accusers face to face. So Roman law required fairness, and though Festus still leaned towards pleasing the Jews, um, you know, see, the Roman system was flawed. It was a human system, right? But it still displayed glimpses of God's justice, right? Verses 17 and 19 says, They brought no accusations against him on such things as I supposed, but had some questions against him about their own religion and about a certain Jesus who had died, who Paul affirmed to be alive. So amazing. Festus admits the real issue is Jesus' resurrection, right? He doesn't understand it, but Paul boldly proclaimed it. And the resurrection is the center of our faith, right? Never soften and skip it when sharing Christ. So verses 20 and 21. And because I was uncertain of such questions, I asked whether he was willing to go to Jerusalem and be judged there. But Paul appealed to be reserved for the decision of Augustus. I commanded him to be kept till I could send him to Caesar. So Festus was very confused, right? Because I'm sure he never dealt with a case like this before, and uh, but Paul remained confident, choosing the path God had set for him. So when others waver, God gives his children clarity and courage. So what are some of the life applications we get? We need to trust God, right? To open doors even before influential people, right? Stay focused on the central truth. Jesus died and rose again, the resurrection, right? We cannot be shaken by others' confusion. We need to have clarity and stand firm in that clarity. Use the opportunity, whether it's big or small, testify of Christ. And remember, God can use political and social uncertainty to advance His gospel, right? So we must understand. So, what I would encourage you from today's verses is that God is going to open the doors, right? if we stay faithful, if we stand with Him, He's going to open the doors to kings and queens of our times, to the political influence, the economic influential people, right? But our focus is to preach the gospel to them, right? Because they will be confused. They may have never heard the gospel. It is our job, like Paul, to stand firm. And we're going to see in the verses coming in the coming days how Paul gives an explanation of the gospel so wonderfully. Because our job is not to, tell someone and them to become a believer. Our job is to share the gospel. It's the Holy Spirit who convicts them, who convinces them, right? Our job is to share the resurrection of Jesus and never be ashamed to be share about sharing the resurrection of Jesus, because that separates Jesus from everybody else. Every belief, every faith, every, you know, um, everyone. And, there will be questions. I know that the resurrection is such a, um, you know, how do Jesus resurrected? Because we know that all his disciples who were very scared when Jesus died, all were ready to die once they encountered the resurrected Jesus. Uh, no one no one, there's no person or no belief that after a person is dead, the movement exceeded a billion times, right? Like the gospel. Peter was ready to die. He even didn't die straight. He said, "Don't crucify me straight, crucify me upside down." Paul, in the future, here, as we're discussing, uses his head, right? Paul even didn't even meet Jesus. He encountered him through the word, through the Holy Spirit, through his close. You see, all the disciples, 11 disciples, even including Stephen, were ready to die. Uh, if they had not seen the resurrected Jesus, especially the 11 disciples, and why would they die for a dead cause? So that's why we know in history it is only Jesus Christ's resurrection that causes us. And that is what testifying with clarity is, that Jesus died for us and rose up. There's no compromise in that as a believer. If we are a true believer of Jesus Christ, we are not going to be scared to share that, right? Um, so I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you tomorrow.